In this lesson, we'll begin laying out the equipment for our second floor HVAC system. So let's get to work. All right, I'm here in 3D view, and let's quickly jump to section view so we can see what our next objective is. I'm gonna go to section 2 here. So we have our ground floor system in place that's located in the basement, and it feeds our ground floor through ducts that feed through the floor. So we're gonna take a little different approach this time. We're gonna go from the top down in this lesson here. We're going to have our air handler unit placed in the attic, and we're going to feed air through the ducts, and they'll hit these air terminals that are located on the ceiling. So let's begin by placing out our equipment again. So we'll go to second floor, and just like with the ground floor, we'll start with our air terminals, but we're going to be mindful of where we place these. We want to make sure our air terminals are going to be placed on our second floor ceiling. So I'm going to go to systems here, and we're going to go with air terminal. And this time I'm going to go hunt down a different type. I'm not interested in connecting to the floor since we're actually coming from the top down. So I'm going to go with the default here. So we'll go with the drop down. And as long as I pick something that's a supply diffuser, I'm in good shape. So we'll go with this default supply diffuser. And I'm going to check all its levels here. So now it's saying level 2. I want to adjust that placement. I want that to go on the ceiling. And you can see once I make that change, the host changes as well. So now the host is the ceiling. So I should be able to place this in its place on the ceiling, and it should be there at the first time. But occasionally, you got to go back and make a quick adjustment. So we'll place our first one here, and really quickly, I'm going to jump to section and make sure we got that placement. So I think section 1 will give me the view here. Section 2, maybe. Perfect. Just as I suspected, it did assign it to level 2, even though we assigned it to the ceiling. But that's not a problem at all. I'm going to highlight that air terminal. And since we are technically working on level 2, we can keep it associated with level 2 here, but let's change it with an offset. We know that that ceiling is located at 9 feet, so let's just type in 9 feet for that offset. Bingo. Perfect. We are in good shape. Now all I'm going to do is copy that one and place the rest. So we'll go back to floor plan 2, and let's copy this one over, and let's keep the process going. And again, as I'm placing these out, I want to be mindful of how I do this. So initially, when I first began working with systems like this, I wanted to line these up perfectly. But I realized that when you're lining these up, they're going to be feeding into a main, and you don't want those joints to line up. You want to actually offset the joints from the branches into the main. It gives it a much better airflow. So we're going to keep this in mind, and we'll take that approach. So I'm going to select these two. I'm simply going to copy these. Oops, it looks like it didn't grab both of them, so I'll do it again. I'll select this one, copy, click them and drag them down, but then we're going to offset them just a little bit. And I can actually stand to offset this one just a little more here. So you can simply click and drag these guys into place exactly where you want them here. I'm going to move this last one over to here just a bit too. Perfect. Now this way, my joints won't align as I'm connecting into my main. So now that we have those in place, we are ready to place our air handler unit. So to do that, we're going to make sure we hop into our attic view, and we're going to go to mechanical equipment, but we're not going to go with a vertical system. I want to go with a horizontal system for 2 reasons. One, it spreads out the load. I'm not overloading any of my joists above, whether it's sitting or hanging on them. And secondly, a lot of times you won't have that headroom to fit a system in there vertically. And it'll be a lot less duct work having to feed out, coming up high into my ceiling of my attic and then dropping down low to my branches. So I might as well just keep it all low to begin with. So horizontal is the way to go for me. So we're going to go with the drop down menu here, and actually we'll go to edit type. Nope, we'll go load family. That's the best way to go. And we'll go with our mechanical MEP. We're working with airside components, and we're looking for an air handler unit. And again, what I'm looking for is in a horizontal orientation. So anything that says horizontal will work for me in this case. Perfect. And now that I'm in attic view, I can place him here, and he should be assigned to the attic where he's supposed to be. So let's go to our section view again just to make sure, and if not, we can adjust accordingly. So we'll hop over to section 2. Perfect. Right the first time. I like that. So now let's go back to our second floor here. And I'm going to change my view here. I want to be able to see what's going on above. So I'm just going to simply change my view range. So under here in my properties browser, in our extents, edit, I want to change my view range in the way that I could see what's going on above. So when it's for the top here, I'm going to change that roof to unlimited. Apply, OK. And what that'll do is it'll allow me to see what's going on with my air handler unit here, as well as being able to connect my pieces here. So now that I have everything in place, I can now do what we did in our previous lessons and create some intelligence in this model and create a system. So let's start with our air handler or our air terminals again. So I'm going to select that one, duct, and this time it is a supply, but we're going to change it to, instead of mechanical air 1, again we're going to be very specific. We'll call this one second floor system. So I'll just type in second floor. Perfect. And now all I need to do is edit the system and add my other ducts. We'll select a piece of equipment, which will be my air handler unit. I'll finish that out. And now we're ready to create, to start modeling out our ducts. And we'll start finishing out this system in our next lesson.